my dress!
Men are scum, don't trust them. Amara stood at the crossroad of her life. Should she stay and fight for a man who betrayed her? Or should she walk away with her dignity? Because tears cannot wash a stained cloth, but they can only cleanse your heart. The sun rose gently over the village. Inside the Okechukwu compound, everything was alive with celebration. Women tied bright wrappers around their waists, their laughter filling the air as they stirred large pots of jollof rice and spicy goat meat. Today was Amara's wedding day. Amara stood before the mirror in her room. Her eyes sparkled with excitement, and her lips curved in a shy smile. She was 23 years old, tall and graceful, with smooth dark skin that glowed even without makeup. Her hair had been braided into a crown and decorated with golden beads that shone like the sun. But it was her dress that stole the heart of everyone who saw her. The wedding dress was white, flowing and delicate. It looked like it had been touched by angels. The lace was soft as feathers, and tiny pearls decorated the sleeves. As she turned, the dress shimmered in the light, and her heart danced with joy. "You look like a queen," her cousin Ifeananya whispered, clapping her hands. Amara laughed softly. "I feel like I am dreaming. Is this truly my day?" "Yes, it is," her mother said, wiping her eyes with the edge of her wrapper. "My daughter, you will step into your new life with happiness. Today we celebrate love." Her mother's words wrapped around her heart like music. Outside, the groom, Yomi, was already waiting. Yomi was 27 years old, tall, with broad shoulders and a smile that could melt any heart. He wore a cream-colored agbada that made him look even more handsome. His friends cheered loudly, patting his back and telling him he was the luckiest man alive. "Yomi, you better treat Amara well," one of them teased. "She is a jewel." "I will," Yomi replied, his voice firm but soft. "She is my treasure." His mother nodded proudly, watching him. She believed her son was perfect. Strong, successful, respectful. Everything a woman could want in a husband. The two families had joined hands, and the air was filled with unity. The compound looked like a garden of colors, with canopies decorated in white and gold, flowers hanging in every corner, and music floating from the loudspeakers. The bride and groom looked like a storybook couple. Everyone said they were meant to be. But in the corner of the compound, an old woman with tired eyes watched quietly. She muttered something under her breath, words nobody could hear. Her gaze was fixed not on Yomi, but on the beautiful wedding dress. The church was packed with people. Women fanned themselves as they hummed hymns. Men adjusted their suits, proud to witness the union. The pastor's voice boomed across the hall as Amara and Chaik stood hand in hand before him. "Do you, Yomi, take Amara to be your wife?" "I do." "Do you, Amara, take Yomi to be your husband?" "I do." Their voices echoed, and the whole church cheered. Children clapped, women ululated, and the choir sang a song of joy. Rings were exchanged, prayers were made, and the two were pronounced husband and wife. The hall erupted in celebration. Amara's cheeks glowed with happiness as she leaned on Yomi. She felt safe, loved, and sure that this was the beginning of a sweet story. But in the back row of the church, a man dressed in black sat silently. He did not clap. He did not smile. His eyes were locked on the bride, and his lips curved in a small, strange smile. The reception was even louder. Music boomed from the speakers and the DJ shouted, "Let's celebrate love today." Amara and Yomi cut the cake together, feeding each other sweet slices as the crowd clapped. Cameras flashed, recording every smile, every laugh, every gentle touch. Her father raised his glass and said, "To love that never ends. To a bond that grows stronger with every passing day." Everyone shouted, "Amen." But even as the joy continued, Amara noticed something. At the far corner of the hall, a small, shiny box wrapped in gold paper sat alone on the gift table. No name was written on it. No card. Just a box. Her eyes lingered on it for a moment, But then she looked away as Yomi pulled her back into the dance floor. Some women whispered about Yomi past. Are you sure he left that other girl completely? Another voice replied, hush. This is not the time. Some men whispered about the gift. Who brought that golden box? Nobody knows. And in the middle of it all, the old woman with tired eyes smiled again. Her lips curved in a way that did not reach her eyes. She walked past the gift table, tapped the golden box lightly, and vanished into the crowd. Amara laughed, her hand in Yomi's, her dress shining brighter than the lights. She was too happy to notice the shadow slipping quietly into her joy. Amara's joy grew bigger each time Yomi whispered in her ear. My wife, he said with a proud smile. My husband, she replied, her voice soft like a secret song. One by one, family members and friends stood to give speeches. Yomi's best man raised his glass. To my brother Yomi. He has found a woman more precious than gold. Amara, may your days together be sweeter than honey. Amara's younger brother, Ibuka, who was only 17, stood nervously. His voice cracked as he said, to my sister who has always taken care of me, and to her new husband, may you never know sorrow. The crowd clapped, and Amara's eyes filled with tears. She hugged her brother tightly. Finally, Amara's father stood. His deep voice silenced the crowd. My daughter, today you step into a new family. Remember, a wedding is only one day, but marriage is a lifetime. Love with patience, forgive quickly, and never forget that trust is more valuable than money. The crowd murmured in agreement. But just as he sat, Amara thought she saw someone move near the gift table. She blinked. The golden box sat untouched, yet she felt a chill travel through her body. Later in the night, Amara stepped outside to catch her breath. The music echoed faintly behind her as she leaned on the wall, her dress glowing under the moonlight. Suddenly, she noticed him, the man in black who had been sitting at the church. He stood across the street, half hidden in the shadows. His face was sharp, his eyes dark, and though people passed by, he did not move. Amara's heart beat faster. Do I know him? She whispered to herself. Before she could step closer, Ifeanyi ran out. Amara, they are calling you inside for the couple's game. When Amara turned back, the man was gone. The street was empty, as though he had never been there. Back inside, the MC laughed loudly into the microphone. Now let us test if this couple truly knows each other. He asked Amara, what is Yomi's favorite food? Yam porridge, Amara answered without thinking. The crowd clapped as Yomi nodded with a grin. And what is Amara's favorite drink? Yomi laughed. Zobo. Again the crowd cheered. The questions continued, each answer proving how well they knew each other. Everyone laughed and clapped, and the love between them shone like fire. At the end of the night, gifts were carried into the couple's car. Large boxes, envelopes filled with money, baskets of food. Everything was loaded with joy. But the golden box remained untouched. Nobody admitted to bringing it. Who gave this one? Amara asked, her fingers brushing the smooth paper. Check later, Yomi said casually, pulling her hand away. Tonight is for happiness. Don't let small things disturb you. She nodded, but deep inside something unsettled her. The box felt different, not like the others, almost like it was waiting. When the party was finally over and the guests left, Amara slipped into her new room with Yomi. She stood before the mirror once more, looking at her wedding dress. It still shimmered, but for the first time she noticed something strange. Near the hem of the gown, a tiny dark mark rested on the lace. Her heart skipped. Was my dress stained? She touched it with her finger, but the stain did not feel wet. It was dry, almost like ash. When she rubbed it, it did not fade. Yomi, she whispered, but he was already half asleep on the bed, tired from the long day. She looked again, and the stain seemed bigger than before. Or maybe it was her eyes. She blinked, and it looked normal again. Amara turned away, shaking her head. It's only my imagination. Today was too much joy. My mind is playing with me. But as she hung the dress carefully in the wardrobe, she thought she heard something, a faint sound like a whisper. The sound seemed to come from the dress itself. Her blood ran cold. That night, Amara could not sleep easily. She lay beside Yomi, listening to his gentle breathing. She should have felt peace. Instead, her mind replayed the golden box, the man in black, the old woman's strange smile, and the faint whisper she thought she heard. She held Yomi's hand tightly, whispering to herself, "This is only the beginning. My marriage will be filled with happiness. Nothing will spoil it." The moonlight fell softly on the wardrobe where her dress hung. The tiny dark stain on the hem seemed to spread like a shadow in the night. And deep inside the golden box, something shifted. Weeks had passed since Amara's wedding day, but the stain on her gown refused to disappear. Each time she opened the wardrobe, she saw it growing darker, like a shadow eating into the lace. She had tried washing it, scrubbing it, even spraying perfume over it, but nothing worked. It remained there, silent, stubborn, and haunting. Yomi laughed it off. "Why do you care? You will not wear it again." But Amara could not laugh. Something in her heart whispered that the dress was more than fabric. It was holding a secret. One night, when the house was quiet, Amara finally opened the golden box. Her hands trembled as she untied the ribbon and lifted the lid. Inside was not money, not jewelry, but a folded piece of paper stained with red marks. She unfolded it carefully, and her eyes widened in horror. It was a letter. "You married a man who already belongs to another. He promised her the same love he promised you. This dress you wear will never be pure, because it carries the weight of lies." Her breath caught. She dropped the letter and covered her mouth to stop a scream. Yomi, another woman. She could not sleep that night. The next morning, Amara followed her instincts. She searched through Yomi's phone when he was in the shower. Her heart raced as she scrolled. There she found it. Messages from a woman named Adiz. The words pierced her heart. "I can't believe you married her. You promised me. When will you tell her the truth?" Tears filled Amara's eyes. She dropped the phone and sat on the bed, shaking. Her wedding day, her joy, her laughter, it had all been covered in lies. That evening she confronted Yomi. Her voice broke with pain. "Who is Adiz?" Yomi froze. His eyes darted to the phone, then back at her. He stammered. "Amara, listen. Don't you dare lie to me," she snapped, her voice trembling. "I read your messages. You stood before God and promised me truth, but your mouth was stained with lies." Yomi rubbed his face, groaning. "It was before you. I tried to end it. She wouldn't let go. Yet you still spoke to her even after our wedding." Silence. The walls of their home seemed to close in, pressing heavy on Amara's chest. Days turned into weeks, and the lies only grew clearer. Amara discovered that Adiz was not just a past lover. She was carrying Yomi's child. The truth stabbed like a knife. Her wedding dress in the wardrobe seemed to darken with every new revelation, as if it had known the truth all along. Each time she looked at it, her heart bled. Her mother came to visit, but Amara could not speak. She only cried in her mother's arms. "Daughter," her mother said softly, "tears cannot wash a stained cloth, but they can cleanse your heart." Amara stood at the crossroad of her life. Should she stay and fight for a man who betrayed her? Or should she walk away with her dignity? On the morning of what would have been their third month together, Amara made her choice. She removed the dress from the wardrobe, folded it neatly, and placed it back inside the golden box. Then she left the house with nothing but her suitcase. Amara never returned to Yomi. She went back to her parents' home, her heart broken but her spirit alive. She focused on building herself, not on nursing lies. She started a small business, surrounded herself with people who truly loved her, and slowly found peace again. Yomi was left alone, his lies catching up with him. Adiz eventually left him too, unable to trust a man who betrayed her as well. The dress remained in the golden box, untouched, a reminder of a love that died before it lived. Marriage is not about the wedding dress, the cake, or the celebration. It is about truth. Lies, no matter how small, will always stain the fabric of love. Trust is more precious than gold. Once broken, it is almost impossible to repair. Never ignore strange signs at the beginning of a journey. A whisper at the start can become thunder at the end. Do not let society push you into rushing love. It is better to wait for truth than to dance in lies. Pain can break you, but it can also build you. Choose to grow from it. Amara's story may not have ended in the fairy tale she dreamed of, but it carried a truth deeper than diamonds. A stained wedding dress can be replaced, but a stained soul cannot. Guard your heart, for it is better to walk alone in truth than to be celebrated in lies. If you have not subscribed to my channel, you might not hear my voice again, but if you are, then you are growing every day. Check my page for more interesting stories. Thanks for watching.